So if I push on the Yamaha mixers, there's an 80 cycle. It's called a high pass filter. And all that does is knock off everything below 80 cycles. And there's some really weird stuff happening with my mic and theirs. So as we go along, I may switch over to this other microphone. To check. That's better. Still we get it. Now you notice as you look at the board, I'm starting to turn on more and more channels. The more channels I turn on, the more faders we put up, the less gain we're going to have before old Mr. Feedback comes and visits. Okay? Now, I got the drums up at really good levels. It'd be nice to keep this setting without having to go ahead and pull them all down. I like what I got, but I don't want to disturb that setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all his drums off of the stereo bus, and I'm going to use my grooves. That way I'll have a fader that is just drums for that. So to do that, all I got to do is unassign all those drums from stereo, oops, and put them on 1 and 2, group 1 and 2. Okay, this explains why you would use the groups and why you would want them. You go to all this trouble to get a nice balanced sound. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to have it on one fader? Now, would you play the drums one more time? So when he's playing, I've got them on just 2 faders. By just pulling down these 2 faders, I pulled down the entire drum set. So that helps me control this noise problem that we're having while we're going through sound check too. So now I've got the ladies' vocals are all up, everybody's up, and you can talk to each other, but you still can't hear each other in the wedges. That's when we'll get to this next. The first thing I wanted to do was set those gains so that at least we're in the ballpark with our settings. We're not hearing anybody clipping or distorting in the system. Let's hear, can I hear just the bass? Go ahead and turn the bass guitar up. And she's coming direct also. There's no instrument amp, so I'm going to have to adjust for that. Oh yeah, I see you. You get your levels up high?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Now that's flat. I haven't messed with the EQ at all. So flat means I haven't adjusted anything at all. But at least we're in the ballpark and it's quiet, no hum. There's a ground lift on the direct boxes. So sometimes you'll have to flip that switch to get rid of that hum or buzz sound that's on stage. But by having her play through the PA, it's going to be quieter up there on stage. Okay, so we got you. Let's see if we can get that guitar. You just go ahead and play it just like you would, and I'll bring it up as I can find it. Oh yeah, there it is. It's a these pedals have a high output level. Sometimes you have to watch them. The levels can be pretty hot. Clean sound for me? We got a pretty good sound, something basic to start with. And it sounds like it's got a little extra low end in it. So I'm going to roll some of that off. Keyboards, and we should be able to get started with everything else. Okay, we'll start, Ezra, with your keys. Oh yeah, that's hot. Here we go. Doing a good, try yours. Since they're the same keyboards, I'm going to use the same settings. we're in the ballpark, so what the heck. Let me tell you a little secret about keyboards. Two things you need to know. Whoever decided that having touch sensitivity on a keyboard was a good thing was a musician. They're not a sound person. Because the harder she plays, the louder it's going to be. Now I got a kind of figure for that, the same as I would for her vocal. So you're going to play, you need to set it so it will be played louder during performance. Also, most of the time you'll find keyboard players especially, sorry, no offense to anybody who plays keyboard, will not put their volume levels at full. They'll leave them at 3/4 of the way or something like this. They won't be quite full until they get to their lead, and then they can turn it up a little more. That's our job. And I want them comfortable to feel like that they're going to be able to do that with me, because I'm going to watch. I'm not going to be outside smoking. I'm going to be in here mixing the band the way I'm supposed to do. Well, you know, I mean, if you don't pay any attention to them, that's why they do this stuff, you know? So anyway, I'm trying to make them feel comfortable. I also want to know that when I walk up that keyboard, that the settings are the same tonight as they were last night, as they were the last week. So, full's better. Now you're starting to hear some noise being picked up in the system. That noise is this. Without the guitar, and no, oh, it's the keyboards. We have, where are the direct boxes on those keyboards?
I think it's right behind the monitor for this keyboard.
Okay, let's check and fix that.
There should be a ground lift on it.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
Bad cable.
hey, nice quality cables, huh? If you've got something like this, find it, fix it now. It's only going to happen during the show. It'll only happen when you don't want it to. It's a bad 1/4-inch cable. You going to get another one? That's cool. I'm glad we actually had this problem. This happens a lot, and people don't think about it. Oh, everybody who doesn't carry a spare cable, shame on you. This is why you should carry a spare cable. This is why we do sound checks. Here's that cable. Here's that cable that was bad. Now, where do you think I ought to put it? Back in the box where the rest of them are? No, you know what you should do is take a Leatherman and lop the end of it off. That way somebody really knows it's a bad cable. The problem is that cables are expendable. This is the only preaching I do. I don't sell cables, but if you're not carrying a spare one, this will happen to you. Now it's quiet. Play it again. So it's working. We're back in business. But I don't want that disturbing your performance. We don't need buzzes and hums during performance that we can do something about. So if you hear that, it's easy enough to suss out. You see what I did? I just turned stuff on and off until I found the noise. And that's how hard it is to troubleshoot audio. So when somebody's freaking out that it's, oh gosh, you know, the world's coming to an end, calm down. It's one thing at a time. Turn it on, turn it off. You can do it with the on switches sometimes, like we did here. Sometimes you have to physically unplug and replug things. But it's worth the time. And that's why you want sound check to have all this trouble. That's why some bands will spend 8 hours on stage before a show. They want to find all this stuff out. Okay, so next, I'm going to try to make you guys feel comfortable about the monitors and what you're going to hear through them. I'm going to try, and I'm going to tell you some things you probably shouldn't hear. So close your ears. I'm going to try to keep the monitor levels as low as I can. I do not want them to get to so loud that we're fighting over them. Here's the deal. If you can see the tweeter in the speaker, it's meant for you. That's your speaker. It was meant for you, the crowd. None of these boxes, all the tweeters are pointed at the performers. So all you're hearing is this. And along with some rumbles.